Welcome, guys. I wanted to discuss and share with you a short introduction to Tableau. Tableau is a data visualization platform, data visualization tool that I've been using personally myself for the last several years. It's actually one of the more powerful and more common data tools out there used by big businesses, small and big actually. And you'll find that it's one of the main tools in terms of data visualization offerings out there. So, what is Tableau exactly? I want to give you a short introduction on what Tableau is, about a bit about the company. Tableau itself was founded back in 2003, right at the height of the big data explosion that we saw early in 2000s. Companies were sat on a lot of data and they struggled to visualize their data. So this is where Tableau really became successful. And today it sits in a position amongst other visualization tools, which we'll cover. Eventually, Tableau was acquired by Salesforce in 2019. Salesforce are a software, another major software company specializing in CRM software. And today there's three primary versions. There are more, but the three primary versions are Tableau Desktop, Tableau Server, and Tableau Public. We're mainly concerned with Tableau Desktop, which allows us to create and become a content creator of dashboards and stories and visualizations, which we can then share and publish to Tableau Server. Tableau Public exists as well, but that's mainly for people who want to share their work with the essentially with the public, hence the name itself. And then just want to give you a view of where Tableau sits within the ecosystem. This is a Gartner's Magic Quadrant. They produce this every year. It's a benchmark of visualization tools, and you can clearly see that Tableau have a good solid place in the leaders quadrant, only slightly overshadowed by Microsoft, but that's mainly because of their complete offering with their cloud platform, which is Azure. So Tableau is one of the big offerings, big visualization software companies. You've also got Microsoft Power BI, you've got Click, and Google are slowly approaching in there too with their Looker platform. We'll then look at tech stack in terms of where they sit. So this is perhaps something you would have heard but not fully understood. If you can think of a data journey typically starting from the top, working its way down, so moving downstream, you always start off with like a database or a warehouse or a data lake. This is where companies store their data. And typically they're stored on things like SQL databases, like so here for instance, Microsoft SQL Server. You also have companies that store them on old architecture like Hadoop clusters, is a big data platform. And more recently, you've got companies storing their data on cloud environments such as AWS, Azure, and GCP, Google Cloud Platform. As we move down the data journey, a lot of this data then needs to be essentially handled in a way and put together in a way, and this is done through the benefit of ETL tools. So tools like DBT, Alteryx, Hevo are quite popular in terms of harnessing data that sits in the data warehouse and then pulled together in a meaningful way. ETLs also commonly include transformations to data, cleaning up and addressing of data quality issues, or joining data up to actually give it a more business commercial meaning. And we'll come on to that in future. And then finally, you've got the consumption layer where Tableau sits, Power BI, and the equivalent of Looker. So this is the data journey. This is something we'll come back to and refer to a few times in future videos. But please bear in mind, this is essentially how most companies structure the journey end to end, and Tableau being the consumption point for a lot of users. Now let's take a look at some clients that Tableau have. Now typically, as you can imagine, as I mentioned, a lot of big businesses use Tableau. So I'm just going to call out a few here that I know of. So Verizon, a big telecoms company in the US, use Tableau. Henkel, which is a big consumer goods business. RBC, a Canadian bank. You've also got the likes of Jaguar Land Rover, and just to name a few. There's many more, but I've used Tableau in a previous bank at HSBC. I use it in my current bank at JP Morgan Chase, and I've used Tableau in other companies as well. So Tableau is very much a popular tool, and one which you'll find used by a number of companies, and definitely a tool worth learning, as you'll find many businesses are using Tableau, so they are constantly looking for people who have Tableau skills and experience. So now, guys, we'll take a look at Tableau itself. I'll give you a quick overview, and in future sessions, we'll do a more deeper dive into Tableau and Tableau as a platform. So let's take a look. So, guys, we're going to look at a sample data set. This is Tableau Desktop, and this is the primary designer tool that you'll have on your machine whenever you come across Tableau. This is most likely the first version that you'll come across. And as soon as you open it up, you've got a number of options here. You can connect and open to an existing file or a new file. Sign into server. I will not do that today. And then on the left hand side, you've got some shortcut links. You can connect to a Microsoft Excel file, a text file, even a JSON file, and we'll cover that in a future episode. Microsoft Access database, and believe it or not, even like geographic files, like spatial files, GIS files, and other formats. And then you've got server connections, and then here you've got these direct. Essentially, these are sample databases and sample data files that Tableau put together just to showcase what their product can do. So we'll open this one up. This is the Superstore workbook. So Tableau files are saved as workbooks, which and usually in the extension .twbx or .twb. So here we're in a dashboard. Essentially, this is the full. Well, this is one of many dashboards in here, and you know it's a dashboard because it's got these 4 quadrant squares to them, and these are known as sheets. So this is a sheet, and this is a sheet. So Tableau consists of sheets and a combination of sheets, then marry up to give you a dashboard. Alternatively, you can also build stories. So stories are essentially similar to dashboards, except they follow a linear path. So we'll come on to stories in a future session. I want to give you a view of what Tableau is capable of. So here you can see I've got what looks like an executive dashboard for profitability, and the legend here on the right hand side indicates what these colors mean. So you can see anything in a dark orange, almost a red, is essentially a low profit state. So this is the United States of America. You can see all the individual states, and anything in blue is actually a positive value. We might want to change that to green, for instance. So I might actually do that right now, just to show you how easy it is to play with colors. So here I might do let's try this one, red green diversion. Yeah, I'm okay with that one. I'm okay with that. So now you can see the changing of these colors. This is a lot nicer in my opinion. So green is a good color to have, and red indicates something wrong in your results, in your business results. So we've got different regions here we can choose from as well. So this is one of the many features of this dashboard. You can choose a central US, you can choose the southern states, you can choose the northern states, or you can select all of them, and clicking on this cross filter here will bring you back to the default view. And then what we have here are a series of other charts. So these look like area graphs, and this is one element and this is another element. You can tell by the highlighted square around it. You can see we're trending what seems like monthly sales by consumer, by corporate consumers, and by home office type consumers. And these obviously are the trending sales. I'd probably present this in a slightly different way. In fact, I would have smoothened this line out a bit more. We'll cover that in a future session. But yes, this indicates to you what's going on with consumer sales, corporate sales, so on and so forth. So, I mean, generally these two graphs are interactable, so well, you can interact with them. So I'll give an example. You can see Colorado overall has the lowest, one of the lowest profitability results. So if we left click on that, it then highlights and filters all the other charts in your view. So this is the real power behind Tableau, and this is where people really are able to derive value from a dashboard such as this. If you left click on the state, you'll zoom back out. Likewise, you can click on a certain element in the bottom chart. So here I want to click on unprofitable orders. I just want to see what's going on here. On the first of, these are most likely US dates, so this is going to be the 1st of November. So click on this, and then you should be able to filter on your data. Do keep only. Okay, so it hasn't filtered the top, but it's definitely filtered the bottom. And then we can go back as well. Let's do it. Undo that, exclude. So we can do Control Z as well in Tableau to go back to a previous view. So this, guys, is a dashboard that's already been pre-built. We'll take a look at another one. This is a product dashboard. So it looks like, I've never seen this before. So this looks like a heat map of sorts. You can see the darker the color, the more sales. So this is interesting. Let's click on that. Again, you can see it's filtered the chart at the bottom. So the chart at the bottom looks like a scatter plot, a distribution of sorts. And then you got customers, you got shipping, so on and so forth. All these are different graphs and visuals. And this is where businesses really love Tableau dashboards. It allows them to drill down to their data that matters to them. It allows them to filter by over time and history. It allows them to really derive some analysis from this. So if I go back to this product one, you can see technology for this 2022, we did really well in November. So I might want to know, what kind of customers did we, were part of this. For instance, if you want to see the raw data here, you could right click and go to view data, and that would bring up the raw data behind the table, behind the visual. So this is here you go. Here's the raw data, and we've got some interesting stats there. You could also download this. So say you wanted this in a PowerPoint format, or say you wanted the visual to paste into a PowerPoint chart. You could go to worksheet, copy, and cross tab, and that would essentially copy everything in your table, and you'd be able to paste that into a dashboard, into an Excel file. Let's try that now. So I'm just going to click into this element here, click into this area here, copy, cross tab, and then I'm going to open up a new Microsoft Excel file. And let me just quickly show you guys what this is able to do. I'm going to paste this in. So that's just one option in how you can export data, but there's many options. Tableau really caters for all. There's nothing I have not yet come across. You can even say this as in PowerPoint, so we'll go export as PowerPoint. I want to export just this view, although it's probably not an ideal way to export a dashboard. I'm going to export this into my downloads, save that there. And then within a few moments, it should be available in our dashboard, in our downloads folder. So we'll take a look there. Let's have a look at downloads. Here we go. And here you can see we've been able to download our visual. So Tableau is really good. It's really powerful. It offers so many different options to play with your data, to export your data. There's no limit to what you can do with your data. I guess for you guys, what really matters is learning how to read these kind of dashboards, read the visuals in Tableau, get familiar with the filter options, the formatting options. Essentially, this is how people will consume data, especially in a company. So it could be an executive looking at this, could be a mid-level manager, could be someone who works in client service, someone who works in sales or marketing. And you want to be able to if you're responsible for ensuring data in a Tableau dashboard or designing a Tableau dashboard, you want to make sure that it really allows people to drill down and understand and find nuggets of information. And then if we wanted to build something, I'll just give you a quick overview on how you build a visual. And this is a really short overview. We'll do a more detailed session in future. The data that we have is sat on the left-hand pane, and you have a canvas in the center. You have rows and columns. Essentially, it's a pivot table. If you think of it as a pivot table, it'll make more sense when you start to build out your different content. So what you have here in blue are essentially your dimensions, what known as dimensions. These are ways in which you can cut your data, essentially themes and categories. And then at the bottom you have green values, which are your measures. These are numeric values which allow you to kind of slice and dice your data by a numeric statistic. So now what we want to do is bring in a few of these fields and just start to visualize our data. Again, I've never seen this data before. I've not really explored it in detail. I just want to give you a view of what it looks like. So we might want to bring in customer ID. Oh, no, actually, let's start with customer name. Bring that into rows. And straight away, you can see how quickly Tableau is able to drop that data into your rows. You can alternatively drag it into columns. And what it does is it stacks you. It pushes your data out in a horizontal landscape. Probably not best. You want to probably view it on a row basis. And you can drag more fields out. So let's drag in customer ID. You don't have to click and drag. You can actually double click as well. So for instance, I might want to double click on segment. It does the same. Let's look at ship status. I'm just dragging out some random fields here. So ship status is an interesting one. I'm going to do Control Z there just to show you what happens. When you drag ship status, it actually adds another row to your data. So this is where you start to build your data table, for instance. And then let's say I want to bring in sales. So you can left click sales and drop it into ABC. And that straight away gives you the sales for these customers at this customer ID, at the segment, and ship status. I'm going to remove ship status. To remove it, you just left click, drag it away, or you can right click and remove as well. I'm going to keep this view here. And now what I want to do, essentially I want to do a visual. So this is where you go show me on the top right, and then Tableau offers you a number of visual options. So by default we're in a table option, but what you can do is you can go into like a heat map. This is what Tableau does automatically. It takes a view on how you want to produce a visual here. You can do a bar chart. This one's a bit messy, but we'll come on to that in a moment. Or we can do what's called a tree map. Again, this one needs a bit more adjustment, but you got a number of different visuals here you can now work with and play with. At the same time, you can also, filter this as well. So you can sort this, for instance. Here I've just clicked it on this icon here. It sorts by descending order. You can also filter your data. Say I want to search for, let's just take let's take Becky Martin. So I want to filter by Becky Martin. I can drag customer name, drop it into filters, and then search none, and then search for Becky Martin. Click on Becky Martin, click apply, and now you can see we've only got Becky Martin. Control Z that. I'm going to go back to this view. There's many different ways. Another way is to play with color. So I might want to take sales, for instance, and drag and drop sales on a color. These are known as cards. So here you can change your view. You can change it to a line graph. Doesn't really make sense here. Go back to bar. Might want to do area. Again, it doesn't really work here. Might do circles. So this is another adjustment you can make to your visual. But generally you want to use show me. Back to color. If we drag sales on top of color, what do you think that's going to happen? So what's happened here, it's created a visual for us which uses color to show you the weighting of sales. So let's change the color here. I'm just going to go edit colors. Let's do a red. Let's do a purple. So actually we can do a two-tone color here. That's okay. So we'll stick with this. Let's see if we can do, let's go back to what we had before, red and green. Perfect. So this shows us using color, we can now see the greener the bar, the more the sales, the darker the color, the lower the sales. So you can scroll down and see which customers actually have the highest number of sales. This is a really good way to visualize your data. Color is another great way to kind of add some flair to your visual. and just to give you an idea what's possible in Tableau. There's many more features, guys. I want to give you a really short overview of what's possible in Tableau. But follow me. Please like and subscribe. I'll do a deeper dive session in the next video. We'll build some smart visualizations, and we'll start to build and use parameters and filters to try and tell a story. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this short overview of what is Tableau Desktop. Please like and subscribe, and I promise to come back with more content. Take care, guys. Thanks for watching. Peace.